Welcome to Story Recap. Today, we're going to tell you the storyline of a mystery thriller movie from 2014 titled The Guest. It's about a mysterious and charming ex-soldier who ingratiates himself into the lives of a grieving family by claiming to be a friend of their deceased son. But as his true intentions become increasingly sinister and violent, the family must unravel his dark secrets before it's too late. At the start of the movie, we see the family with Spencer, the father, getting ready for work, and Luke, the youngest son, preparing for school. Once they leave, Laura Peterson, the mother, gazes at a photo of her deceased eldest son, Caleb, who was a soldier killed in Afghanistan. Soon after, the doorbell rings, and Laura opens it to find a man named David, who claims to have been a close friend of Caleb's in the military. Laura invites David into their home, where they talk, and she inquires about the reason for his visit. David explains that Caleb had asked him before his death to visit his family and share how much he cared for them. Although David initially plans to leave, Laura, eager to learn more about her son, asks him to stay. David agrees and shows her a photo of himself with Caleb and other soldiers displayed in the house. Not long after, the Peterson family's second child, Anna, is seen working at a restaurant and meeting David briefly before heading to work. At school, Luke is shown to be lacking many friends and appears awkward. He also becomes the target of bullying by a group of kids at his school and is embarrassed by his mother picking him up every day. Upon returning home, Luke meets David, who asks about the bruise on Luke's face. Luke hides it by saying it's from playing football during gym class. Later, Spencer and Laura debate David's visit. Spencer is worried that David might be a deserter from the military with potential mental health issues that could put their family at risk. However, due to Laura's insistence, Spencer eventually agrees to have David stay in their home. After work, Laura doesn't immediately go home and instead spends time alone with her boyfriend, Zeke. She talks about David, but doesn't seem too concerned about his arrival. Elsewhere, Spencer discusses his complicated job, and David mentions that he plans to look for work anywhere he can. The next day, feeling compassionate, Spencer urges David to stay with him until he finds a suitable job. The next day, as Luke is about to leave school, he's surprised to see David there to pick him up. David inquires about the bruise on Luke's face, and although Luke initially tries to downplay it, he eventually reveals that a group of bullies at school had attacked him. Rather than taking Luke home immediately, David decides to follow the bullies to a bar. He convinces Luke to come inside with him, despite Luke's initial hesitation. Once inside, David orders strong drinks for himself and the bullies. Offended by David's actions, Mike, one of the bullies, pours his drink on David's face, prompting David to retaliate violently. During the ensuing fight, Luke is also seen getting hit by one of the bullies. When Laura returns home and sees Luke hurt, she is taken aback. David explains that Luke was simply defending himself from the bullies who target him regularly, which reassures Laura that David is there to protect her son. Shortly after, Anna persuades David to join her at a party, as suggested by her mother. While Anna is getting ready for a shower, David comes out of the bathroom, making a strong impression on her with his appearance. Later that evening, Anna and David arrive at the party, where David meets Kristen and her friend. Kristen asks David to help bring 2 kegs of drinks into her house, and everyone is amazed by how easily he handles them. David talks with Kristen until her ex-boyfriend shows up and confronts her aggressively. Unhappy with the ex-boyfriend's behavior, David quickly responds by slamming him against the wall until he's unconscious. Kristen is impressed by David's actions and invites him to a room, leading to a passionate encounter between them. Once David's phone is fully charged, he speaks with one of Anna's friends, Craig, who appears shady and shows signs of addiction. David asks Craig to procure a pistol for him, claiming his background as a soldier makes him knowledgeable about weapons. Meanwhile, Anna and her boyfriend Zeke have an argument, and in her frustration, Anna invites David to come with her. When they get home, it's clear that Anna has developed feelings for David, while David remains reticent. One day, Anna overhears David on the phone discussing something suspicious, which raises her doubts about his true identity as a soldier. Eager to find out more, Anna contacts the military base, but they can't access David's records and direct her to the KPG Corporation for additional information. KPG discovers that the real David had been killed in an explosion while on duty, they inform their superior Richard about Anna's inquiry into David. Richard immediately requests a ticket to visit Anna's house. Meanwhile, David meets with Craig to buy weapons from one of Craig's contacts. After the contact shows him the arsenal, David quickly agrees to purchase them all, much to their satisfaction. However, David then reveals his actual plan to use the weapons to eliminate both of them. At the same time, Anna learns from the military base that the genuine David died long ago and informs her mother. Her father then arrives and unexpectedly announces that he will be taking over his missing superior's position. Shortly thereafter, David shows up and Spencer offers him a drink, disregarding Anna. Anna receives a call from her boyfriend Zeke, who informs her that Craig has been eliminated and that he is under police suspicion. Anna then meets with Kristen to grieve the loss of their close friend Craig. David gives Luke the knife he always carries, advising him to use it for protection if he continues to face bullying at school. Meanwhile, Anna takes advantage of David's distraction to grab his phone and copies the last call made from it. She quickly hides the phone under her mattress when another call comes in. Zeke later informs Anna that the police have accused him of eliminating Craig, as the weapon used in the murder was found in his car. Anna tells her parents about Craig's elimination and Zeke's involvement. Her father, disapproving of Zeke's criminal behavior and drug dealings, insists that Zeke deserves jail time. Anna argues that the man claiming to be David is an imposter and that the real David is dead. The imposter tries to deflect by claiming it's related to state intelligence secrets and shows identification that convinces Anna's parents of his authenticity. Frustrated, Anna retreats to her room. Later, David approaches Anna with concern about Zeke's arrest, claiming he is staying at Laura's request. Meanwhile, Richard is preparing to visit Anna's home with his special forces team to capture the imposter David. As Anna drops Luke off at school, she asks him to investigate the fake David, suspecting him of being involved in Craig's elimination and Zeke's false accusations. At school, Luke searches his laptop for information about David and facial modification tools, but he becomes agitated when a friend repeatedly bothers him and ends up confronting the friend physically. Consequently, Luke's parents are called to the school. Laura arrives with David, who commends Luke for confronting his troublesome friend. The principal mentions the possibility of expulsion due to the incident, but David threatens legal action against the school for negligence and improper supervision. To avoid complications, the principal decides against expelling Luke and opts for a more lenient punishment. Afterwards, Luke asks David to speak privately. Luke confides in David that he and Anna suspect David of being involved in the eliminations of Craig and their father's superior, which led to their father's promotion. Despite this, Luke assures David that he will keep this information confidential. Meanwhile, David and Laura are outside hanging up laundry when Richard and his special forces team arrive. Richard shows Laura a photo and asks if she recognizes the person in it. A shootout quickly ensues between Richard's team and David. David successfully eliminates several of Richard's men. When things briefly settle, Laura questions David about what's happening. Unable to provide an explanation, David suddenly eliminates Laura. Richard then begins a pursuit inside Laura's house, but David manages to escape using a nearby car. He shoots out the tires of Richard's vehicle, hampering his pursuit. David later crashes into Spencer's car and fatally shoots him. Abandoning his own vehicle, David continues on foot. At another location, Richard meets Anna and advises her to leave to stay safe from the dangerous David. After Anna leaves her workplace, David suddenly arrives driving a new car with bloodstains on the windshield. David only meets Kristen there and asks her about Anna. Unfortunately, Kristen conceals Anna's departure. Without hesitation, David eliminates Kristen and sets the restaurant on fire. In the car, Richard tells Anna that David is a human result of government experiments. David eliminated all the scientists and medics and then fled until today. Richard also says that Anna's parents were eliminated due to their involvement in this program and that David is a programmed killer. Anna learns that the test involved making soldiers act as programmed assassins. Due to the test's success, David became a ruthless killer without limits. The scene then shows David arriving at Anna's house. David spots Luke, who immediately flees. Anna, who is hiding, hears David discussing her family's demise. Anna then witnesses David brutally eliminate with Richard. Anna escapes and manages to hide. Later, Anna and Luke engage in a final confrontation with David. They manage to lure David into a trap and eliminate him. Anna and Luke, whose final scene shows them safe, with Anna being comforted. Anna finally receives justice for her family and avenges their deaths, ending the thriller with a sense of closure and resolution. Thanks for tuning in to Story Recap. We hope you enjoyed our take on today's movie. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss an update.